Welcome to Coffee and Books channel. In this video, we will present the summary of I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. I Am Legend begins on a cloudy January day in 1976. It has been 6 months since a plague swept through the world, turning the victims into zombie-like vampires who feed on blood. The dead return from the grave to roam the world and attack the living. Robert Neville checks his house for damages done to it by the vampires during their nightly attacks. He repairs what is destroyed and nails loose boards. He ensures the house is ready for the attacks that will come again when the sun sets. He also harvests garlic cloves from his hothouse to use as a weapon against the vampires. Garlic repels them. He hangs the garlic cloves around his house, then sharpens stakes that he uses to kill vampires. During the day, the vampires hide in their lairs, sleeping in a comatose state. By night, they hunt for human blood, and when there is no human blood available, they attack each other. When he is not preparing for vampire attacks, Neville retreats to the safety of his house. The vampires gather outside but cannot get in. Robert Neville plays music loud enough to drown the sound of the massive crowd of vampires outside his walls. The mob is led by his neighbor, Ben Cortman, who taunts him with shouts of "Come out, Neville." Sometimes, Robert Neville drinks to forget the pain and loneliness of being the only human in a world of vampires. He toys with the idea of surrendering to them or killing himself. Soon, Robert wonders why things like garlic, crosses, and sunlight works the way they do. He wonders why some vampires do not hate the sight of crosses, yet others do. He reviews works like Bram Stoker's Dracula and makes a list that separates vampiric characteristics that are true from superstitions. He quickly gets frustrated and abandons the list, falling deeper into despair and heavy drinking. Later, he recovers from his despair and decides to continue his experiments. He tests his theories on comatose vampires he finds, dragging them into the sun to see how they react. One afternoon when he is experimenting, he realizes, to his horror, that his watch has stopped working. Knowing he is hours away from home and the sun is setting, he makes a mad dash for home. He arrives on his street to find the vampires already gathered in front of his house. Although he struggles greatly, he enters the house unharmed. Following his close call with death, Robert Neville throws himself into fixing the damages done to his house and replacing the appliances ruined by the vampires in anger. Robert often has memories of his wife, Virginia, and their daughter, Kathy. They got sick from the contagion sweeping across the world. Kathy dies first and has to be burned in the city's massive fire pit to prevent her from resurrecting as a vampire. When Virginia dies, he wraps her up in a blanket and secretly buries her. He is alarmed when 2 days later, Virginia returns for his blood. He kills her again and reburies her in a crypt. Proceeding his research, Robert Neville looks for the cause of vampirism and a possible cure. He begins to read books on blood, physiology, and bacteriology that he gets from the library. He quickly learns how to use a microscope. When Robert examines a drop of vampire blood under a microscope, he discovers the bacillus bacteria responsible for vampirism. The human body serves as a host for this bacteria. Robert's research hits a barrier when everything he applies to cure the germ does not affect it. He falls into a nearly fatal state of despair, but gets saved by the presence of a frail injured dog on his front porch. Robert spends the next few weeks gaining its trust with food. He becomes happy because he believes his lonely days are over. He even offers a prayer for its protection. He spends several days feeding the dog, trying to calm it. Eventually, Neville grabs the dog and takes it inside. The dog is infected, and although Robert tries to nurse it back to health, the dog dies. 2 years later, Robert is more comfortable with his life as a loner. He develops the hobby of hunting Ben Cortman, his neighbor who turned to a vampire. One day, Robert sees a woman in the daylight walking toward him. He calls out to her, and when she runs away, he goes after her. Finally, he catches up with her and takes her to his house. He learns her name is Ruth. Robert is highly suspicious of the woman, presuming she is infected. Still, he rekindles his hopes of restarting the human race and not being alone. He tests her with the smell of garlic. She can't stand it, but she explained that it's because of her weak stomach and not because she is infected. He believed her. In the morning, he draws her blood, and at the last minute, she begs him not to view it under the microscope. However, it's too late, and he realizes she is infected. Before he can react, Ruth knocks him to the floor with the blows of a mallet to his head. When he regains consciousness, he finds the house empty. Ruth leaves him a note explaining that she is part of a new race of infected slowly forming a society. This group has found ways to limit the effects of vampire infection with daily medication. She warns him about the plans of the new society to exterminate the real vampires and the rest of humanity. She urges him to leave his house and hide in the mountains. Robert Neville, however, does not leave his home. In the end, the new hybrid race comes to capture him, wounding him in the process. He has one final conversation with Ruth, and she slips him poison pills that will kill Neville before his execution. Before he dies, Robert realizes that he is part of an era that has passed, and he has no place in the new world or the society that fills it. He also realizes he has become a legend. The last man on Earth. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more.